Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Today we are going to talk about the top 5 touring cruisers that are not Harleys. If you haven't seen it yet, I did a playlist back in November, December timeframe of all of the manufacturers, well, the main manufacturers here in the US of all the bikes that they have for 2023. And out of that playlist, I selected what I consider to be the top 5, for me anyway, of the ones that I would want, of the top 5 bikes that are good for doing a full day ride and that are cruisers, since that's basically what I ride. So the top 5 that I ended up with are the Honda Rebel 1100T DCT, which is a new modification of the Rebel 1100 for 2023. The Indian Springfield, the BMW R18 Classic, the BMW K1600B, and the Indian Super Chief. Again, these are all non-Harleys. Next week or later this week, I'll be doing a review of the Harley bikes for 2023 since they are having their big kickoff event tomorrow. So this weekend I'll be doing my video for that. Be sure to look out for that video. I'll probably do a video with the top Harley touring cruisers. The specs that I looked at in terms of what had to qualify for this. So I tried to make sure I made them as apples to apples as possible. Everything had to have a lower than 30-inch seat height. Everything had to have the ability to put on saddlebags, floorboards, highway crash guards, cruise control, ABS, windshield, a solo rider seat if possible. I preferred that. Heated grips, if possible, heated seat. A couple of them don't have that option. And if possible, ape hangers. Now, only the Indians gave me the option to do ape hangers longer than 6 inches or whatever. So I put ape hangers on the 2 Indians. And I also looked at colors, and I priced out the upgrades for doing a select color that I like versus just doing the cheapest color that's out there. I categorized and rated the bikes based on power, weight, seat height, price, aesthetics, and fuel tank capacity. I'm looking at bikes for doing longer rides, like a full day touring ride. Fuel tank capacity is definitely a factor in that. When it comes to power, I broke that down into a couple of different areas. The first area is I broke it down into overall engine size, so the cc, cubic centimeters, or cubic inches, whichever. I broke it down to the peak torque, foot-pounds of torque. I did not look at horsepower because when it comes to touring bikes, cruisers, really horsepower isn't a huge factor. Horsepower is much more of a factor when you come to your high-performance bikes, your sports bikes, stuff like that. So I didn't really do anything with horsepower, but I had the engine size, the torque, and then because the bikes have different weight, I did a engine size over weight and a torque over weight. So to get the ratio of that, I took those 4 items and I ranked them all 1 through 5 as far as which one had the best. In other words, which had the biggest engine, the most torque, had the highest ratio in terms of engine to weight, torque to weight. And I rated them all 1 through 5, and then I averaged those out to get my total power. So the power category is actually the average of all of those items put together. As you can tell, I like analyzing in statistics. All right, basically we have our 6 categories, we have our 5 bikes, and we're going to take a look at all of those to see how they ranked with these 5 bikes. Let's start with power. Going from worst to best, in 5th place with power is the Honda 1100. In 4th place, the Indian Springfield. In 3rd place, the BMW R18 Classic. second place, the BMW K1600B, and in first place, the Indian Super Chief. Okay, as far as weight goes, fifth place, we have at the heaviest is the Springfield. Next is the R18. In the middle is the K1600B, and then the Super Chief, and then the 1100, the Honda 1100 is the lightest. Seat height, the highest seat height is the K1600B, and then the R18, both the BMWs at the bottom on that one. Then the Honda 1100 in the middle, followed by the Springfield, and in first place is the Super Chief, with the lowest seat height at 26 inches. Now, aesthetics, this is a very important one to me, so I gave this a little bit more weight, even though I don't show it on my chart. But at the bottom in fifth place is the R18. My personal opinion, these boxer engines are ugly. That's just how I feel about them. I know they're good engines. I know they run really well, but they're ugly. Okay, so fifth place is the R18. Second, as far as aesthetics, is the Honda Rebel 1100. My personal opinion, I would not have even put the Rebel 1100 in here if it weren't for the fact that they put the touring package on there. The front fairing and the hard bags, touring bags on the back. To me, that makes this bike look a lot more attractive than just the Rebel 1100 by itself. To me, the Rebel 1100 by itself is an ugly bike. I don't really like the looks of it, but when you put the fairing and the bags on, to me, it looks a lot more attractive. But nevertheless, still in fourth place. All right, in the middle, as far as aesthetics go, I put the Indian Super Chief because while it is a nice looking bike, it's just kind of, to me, just mediocre in the middle. And then second place is the BMW K1600B. This is a very nice looking bike for the style of bike it is. And then, to me, by far the number one bike in terms of aesthetics and how pretty it is the Indian Springfield. I love the vintage classic look on this thing. To me, this is an absolutely beautiful bike. All right, moving on to price. Highest price is was spec'd out with all of these different things, the floorboards, the crash guards, a solo riding seat, all that stuff. Fifth place is the BMW K1600B at $25,600. The Indian Springfield is in fourth place at about $24,000. The Indian Super Chief is in third place at $23,800. Next comes the R18 Classic at about $20,000, and then of course, way up in first place on this one is the Honda 1100 Touring at just under $12,000. Big drop in price on that one. The fuel tank size is the last category. The smallest tank belongs to the Honda at I think it's a 3.6 gallon tank. Next comes the Super Chief at a 4-gallon tank. The R18 is in the middle at a 4.2 gallon tank. The Springfield has a 5.5 gallon tank, and the K1600B has a 7-gallon tank, which is pretty impressive considering it's actually right in the middle at only 760 pounds as far as the weight categories. All right, so you take all those scores together as we've added them in, and you have a total score based on going from first to last, using each bike gets a number from 1 through 5 in each category, and then you add all the categories up. At the bottom in fifth place is the BMW R18 Classic. Nice bike, a lot of good features on it, good tour. I'm sure it's very comfortable, but ugly. All right, next comes the Honda 1100 in fourth place. I've not heard great things about this bike in terms of comfort for really long rides, and very mediocre in terms of power compared to the other ones. So the 1100 takes fourth place. In the middle comes and actually technically tied with the in the middle are the K1600B and the Indian Springfield, but I gave Indian Springfield the edge on this one because of the aesthetics. To me, it's just a much prettier bike. just my style, the way I like, the kind of bikes I like and I gravitate towards. All right, so in the middle is the K1600B, and then second place is the Indian Springfield, and in the number one choice is the Indian Super Chief as my top pick for touring bikes, touring cruisers for 2023. There you have it, folks. That is my list of bikes. Top 5 touring cruisers or cruisers that are good for an all-day ride. And stay tuned for the next couple of videos, which is going to be the Harley Davidson 2023 model lineup. And after that will be my pick of the top 5 Harley Davidsons will be coming shortly after that. So stay tuned for those. Please subscribe. Thanks for all your support. Have a good one.